Welcome everyone. Just a short introduction. I'm Aaron. I'm from DK Outsource. I'm working as a quantity surveyor as well as a software trainer. I have trained various companies, users for Bluebeam Review in the AEC industry. Now, just a short intro of what Bluebeam Review is. Alright, so to put it simply, it's a PDF software, but it is a very specific software which is relevant to you if you are coming from the AEC industry, even in oil and gas industry as well. Right, it is the preferred and by all means the market leader in this industry. So today we are going to be covering of Bluebeam Studio. Alright, so Bluebeam Studio consists of two different items. One is called Studio Projects, one is called Studio Sessions. We'll be covering on projects today. Right, okay, so a basic overview. Studio Projects is actually a centralized location in the cloud that allows you to store documents. So when I talk about documents, it means any file format, PDF, Excel, Word, any file format in the cloud. Alright, so it allows you to store and manage your project files in one single location, and you can actually use it to actually interact with your team, whether internal or external. Alright, and you can also sync your files before going offline, and also resync any updates once you reconnect. Right, okay, so the Bluebeam Studio project can be found on the left here, this icon. Right, so I'm gonna click sign in. Now just take note that Bluebeam Studio comes free with review. Alright, you can create an account, tag to your email, and it is actually a good time to explore Studio. Alright, especially if you're an existing Bluebeam Review user, especially during this period of time where we have to work remotely. Right, so it can be a good way for you to share files. Right, so I already have an account. For those who don't, please do create an account, and you will receive a validation email shortly. Right, so I'm going to sign in. Now, just do take note that once you create your project, alright, so if you see on my left hand side here, this icon signifies the project, alright, and I have a plus icon that allows me to create a new project. So for your info, only the desktop version of Bluebeam can actually create a new project. Right, there is a app version in the Apple iPad store. That version on the iPad cannot be used to create a new project. So if you want to create the project, please do it in the desktop version. Now, so I'm just going to go ahead and open up one of my existing projects. You notice that there is an individual ID that you see there, 166037. Now, this ID is a project specific ID that is attached to that project. I'll talk about that later. Right, so this is what you see, overview. Alright, so you will see different folders here. Right, so how do you add the files? So if you go to the top right hand corner, you see the add button. Right, you can actually create a new folder structure within the Studio project, or you can actually drag and drop your own existing folder structure from your computer into the project session itself. It's up to you. Okay, and you can also have the option of syncing the files once you come back online, and you can also show the checkout review, which I will talk about it shortly later. Right, okay, so by default, all the folders here are shown in a thumbnail view. You can also show it in a list view if you prefer, like this. Right, okay, so now let's talk about permissions. If you go to the top left hand corner, you will see project settings here. Right, so once you open up project settings, it shows you a few different things. It shows you how many users, how many files you have, how much of space you are taking up in the project. So just to take note as well, the number of files, number of attendees that can come in, all are unlimited within Studio Projects. Okay, so now you have a project ID here, 166, and now let's go to user access. Okay, so what does this user access mean? So I have a list of users which I allow to access. I can say allow this person, deny this person access. Right? No, so what does restrict users mean? Restrict users is, for example, if I turn this off, right, anyone with this number here, 166037865, anyone with this number, as long as they type it in, they can actually join without any approval or whatsoever. Right, they can join in straight away. So it is recommended to turn on this function, restrict users. Now let's move on. You can set it to be individual user access, but let's say for example in a big project, you have groups of attendees, let's say all coming under a particular category like engineer, consultant, contractor. It will be good for you to actually select them, to place them into groups, so you can apply the access via group, which is faster. Now the next one is called permissions. So in a similar way, you can apply permissions to both individual attendees or to groups directly. So you can control, allow, deny on different various functions. Right, you can see it in detail over here. Now, and the last one is called folder permissions. So for folder permissions, same thing. You can actually apply the permissions across an individual user or as a group. Okay, and if you take a look at the project root, you can actually select to say that certain groups of people cannot access this folder. They can only see this, they can't access this, so on and so forth. So you can allow them to select whether it's a read and write, or read, write, delete. Right, so those covers the project settings and permissions. Now, okay, so now let's go into the actual system over here. So I have a list of different folders. I'm just going to open one of them. Okay, so now when you open up any file, okay, so if it happens to be a PDF, it will open in Bluebeam directly. Okay, if you happen to open as a any file other than a PDF, it will be open in your own native application. So for example, if you have an Excel file in Projects, when you double click on it in Studio Projects, it will be open in Excel on your computer. Right, okay, so what I have here is, this is a simple dashboard system which we created for our client. So using the function of hyperlink within Bluebeam, right, the client is able to access this and actually access to different sets of file. Right, when they have to come in, get involved, and actually reply to RFI, give comments. Right, so this is a very simple to do client-facing document that you can place, right, to allow them easier access into the files. Right, so I can, for example, I can just click on that, select the file, and access it that way. Okay, so now that we have opened the file or the document, you first notice that you can't do anything on the file other than just view. Okay, this is because if you see here, there's a log icon, there's also a log icon here, and all the markup tools on the right and at the top, they are all grayed out. Right, so this is because when you first open a file, it will be locked. Okay, you still haven't taken it out. Right, it's only for reference only. So what you need to do, you need to left click on the log icon and click on checkout. Okay, so the system works very similar to when you go to a library, you take a book, you want to read it, you want to bring it home, so you need to check it out. You need to check the book out, right, from the system. So it's a similar method. Okay, so now once you have checked the document out, okay, you notice the icon changes. Okay, the icon changes and there is a pending mark over here, and all your markups are open for use now. Okay, so it's important to note that when you work in Studio Projects, when you check out a file, only one person can check out the file. So that means, for example, if my colleague tries to go into the same file and he tries to check out the file, he cannot, right? Because I'm the one that's using it. Okay, so there are a few ways that my colleague can stay updated, okay, on what I'm doing. Number one is that he can actually invite. He can actually ask me to invite him and create a studio session, which I will be covering the next video. Right, so in a studio session, you can have up to 500 people collaborating on the same PDF at the same time. Right, so that would be ideal. Right, but for another situation where maybe my colleague is not invited into the real-time meeting, but he still wants to get updates on on the latest version. So what I can do from time to time is I can just left click on this icon and click update server copy. So when I do that, what my colleague will be seeing when he opens the file for view purpose only, he will see the latest version of the file that I have whenever I click update server copy. So that is something useful that he can use to check it out. Right, now the other one I want to cover is called revision history. So what happens is that whenever I put back, so-called check in the file, they will ask me for a few comments. So I just say, oh, no comments added, I added this call out today, walk the site today, so on and so forth. So it's for you to key in comments on what you have done on the document. Right, you also have an option to open certain revisions and even restore previous revisions. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and check it back in. Okay, so I can just say no comments added and click check in. Okay, so after you check in, it will just go back into the system, right, and be again as a log icon again. Alright, so once it comes back as a log icon, as per usual, it will just be used as a view only icon. So yes, so thank you. This is the end of the overview on Studio Projects. Alright, for those who are interested to learn more, please do reach out to me. Do try it out. This is something that comes free with review, and it's one of Bluebeam Review's most unique features. Alright, so the next video I'll be covering on Studio Sessions, which is a powerful tool for both local, overseas personnel, right, 500 up to 500 per meeting, to allow them to mark up on PDFs in real time. Alright, so thank you for your time. Have a good day.